You are live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 18th meeting of the Advisory Committee. I'd like to start by calling the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Meeting minutes, we're still in the process of typing those up from the last meeting, so those will be brought up at our following meeting. Minutes from the last meeting on, I believe it was the 4th. Next, I'd like to actually take something out of order at this point. We do have a couple new member applications, both of them being here tonight. I'd entertain a motion to start with going over those so that we could get their input on things as we're going along, if anyone would like to do that.
Mr. Chairman, do you need a motion to table the minutes for this week? I think that's the correct way to end up doing it if we don't have any.
We could take a motion on it if you want. Tabling, I don't know if the tabling something we don't have is, but I'd entertain that.
So moved.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Amy?
Yes.
Will?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, now I'd entertain a motion to review the new member applications if someone so moved.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, you've got a second.
Okay. Before us tonight, we had two applications for the open positions on the advisory committee. We'll start with Beverly Bartolomeo, ladies first. So we'll start with one of her. Welcome, Beverly. And we did receive a interest from her with having interest in town government and served on the advisory committee twice before. Looking to work with town officials and the rest of the committee to establish a workable budget. Beverly, one question I have as far as going over this, I know it's come up before, so kind of something I want to make sure we ask everybody is, are you on any other committees or any other thing else here in town? Or Beverly, you're muted if you have to unmute.
There. No, I'm not.
Okay, and not employed.
Nope, I'm a retired lady.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions for Beverly at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to take and say that Beverly was on before when I was on, and there was different stuff that she brought forth to the committee that a lot of the folks weren't aware of.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept Beverly's application for membership to the advisory committee.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Do anyone have any more comments or questions? Okay, the roll call vote. Amy?
Oh, yes.
Will?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Welcome, Beverly.
Thank you.
I believe we'll get your information to the town clerk. You'll need to be sworn in by the town clerk as far as to make everything official on it. Like I said, I wanted to get this, go over stuff ahead of time here and bring it so you can at least take part in the discussions throughout the night. I don't believe voting wise that you and the other new candidate would be, and Robert would be able to vote until you're sworn in. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think
Probably not. Probably.
we don't have anything major on that I think you'll need to vote on as far as that goes, but I wanted you to be able to take part in the discussion. So,
You are correct, Mr. Chairman. They cannot vote. They can end up having discussions.
all right. Next on the that turned in an application was Robert May. Welcome, Robert.
Welcome. That would be Bob, please.
That'll be Bob. Okay, I wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Bob sent in his application, having been on the advisory board before. Looking to commit through pre-town meeting to ensure the committee is able to maintain a quorum and to help town business go forward. We certainly appreciate that. Again, Bob, I'll ask the same question I asked Beverly, not on any other committees or anything, or no other employment in town as far as the town goes?
On no other committees, not employed by the town, and I have my packet to give to the town clerk already. So.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any other questions for Bob?
I'd like to just say, Mr. Chairman, that Bob was on when I was on previously, and he was a very active member. He did a lot of lookups, and I think he would good. He's going to be another good asset.
I have one question for Mr. May, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Bob,
Yes,
will
Tony?
we maintain our previous agreement?
I think right now we're going to have to stay with the 6 feet. I really do.
Okay, thanks, Bob. I just wanted to make sure that was still in force.
It's open for discussion,
All
but
right,
right at the moment.
that's a
Very
joke.
good, Tony.
For everybody that's on, that's a joke. That was something when Bob was on previously.
Well received. Thank you, sir.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept Bob May's application to the advisory committee.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Did anyone have any other comments, questions? Do a roll call vote. Amy?
I vote yes. Welcome back, Bob.
Will?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Welcome to the committee. And
Mr. Chairman, according to the Article 9.3, a tested copy has to be sent to the town clerk by the secretary of the vote.
Yep, I can email that tomorrow or tonight when we're done.
She has that from when we did it previously, Will. So you still have that, Deb, or do you need me to try to find it?
I'll take a look. I'm not sure. But yeah, if there's a certain format and you have your finger on it, that'd be great.
I don't know if I do. I'll have to look.
okay, that takes care of adding new members. Both of you welcome. And it's nice to bring your expertise back to the board, both of you. So look forward to it. All right, next up on old business, committee updates. I don't have any on my committee. We haven't met any yet on capital. We may have a meeting coming up in the near future. However, we haven't had anything since yet to go over. Amy, do you have anything?
No, our meeting's on Tuesday.
Okay. All right, and Tony, anything on the account on the?
Nope, that is in. What's the word I'm looking for? It's suspended for right now. It's not active right now.
Okay. All right, with no committee updates, as far as nothing new at this time. Next on the agenda was discuss the possible bylaw change in membership. I know we had discussed that before with some stuff. I know we're gonna have 2 new members here tonight, so I wanted to kind of get their input on things. One of the reasons I thought it was important to get stuff ahead of time and move it up in the order. So if anyone has any input especially out of the 2 new members or any of the members at this point, on possible bylaw changes or anything, feel free.
Hi, Tom. Of course, I'm going to say something.
Yes.
What I would like to mention on this is just that I think right now, I like the 7 members. It gives us more opinions, and I do think with 8,000 people in town, 7 members is not really too much to ask. But I do think, as a committee and in general, we have to get better as a town in pushing to fill these positions, because we seem to just let them flounder except for a couple times a year when we go out looking for people. Maybe we just need to adjust the way we do it. But I think 7's a good number, and for now, I'm in favor of keeping it.
Any ideas on better ways to fill membership? I mean, obviously, I appreciate you guys stepping up at this point. It's been, we bring it up pretty much almost every meeting. I don't know if you had any different ideas on how we could recruit members in the future.
Some communities actually have, when somebody moves into town, a book on town government. And looking at a lot of Facebook, I see a lot of folks that have come from other communities, and I'm not small communities, cities, kind of east of here. And to me, that's a problem, because they don't understand town government per se. Yes, there's a few people that have gotten on to the committees, but if you look at most of the committees across the board, for us, it's mostly older people that have been in this town for quite a way that have been doing the volunteering. That's not a bad thing, but we're not getting, like Bob said, we're not getting enough new blood. So getting some type of information to people when they come into town would be helpful. We need to end up doing that. We don't do a good job of letting folks know about town government and the opportunities to volunteer.
Okay, Bev, you had you. Go ahead. You muted yourself. Beverly, you're muted. You might want to hold your finger on the space bar. Either hold your finger, or there should be a button at the bottom that unmutes you.
I just unmuted myself.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Bob and Will are both right. I have a lot of new people around me, seeing as 3 cars went by in a day when I was a kid. Anybody is new. And when I talk to them, I have to explain to them, if you have a fire, don't call 911. Call a dispatcher, because it's going to go to the state police and it takes too long. It's little things like that they need to know, because if you're in an emergency, God only knows, it'll take forever and a day. And times that in essence, 3.5 miles from town. I think that when somebody buys a new house, maybe we can get a few people together and put up a little package for people so that they know things and what's available for volunteer or even government, like we're doing, committees. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to get to know people either. So this would give them an opening. When Paul Grubb was on the advisory board, it was because I went next door and asked him to sign a petition. And he asked me a question about the advisory board, about town finances. And I said to him, this is how you do it. And it worked real well until he had to move. But I think if we make the path wider and light it a little bit, it'll make it easier for people to walk down there. Because I'm not going to be here forever. Neither is Will. So we need younger people that will come and step up, but they have to learn. You just can't walk in. I've been watching town business for 50 years. There's a lot to learn. It's nothing that you learn overnight. You know, bad decisions can cost us for years, for decades. So I think that maybe that's something we ought to think about. You know, I don't know, Amy, you think so? You and Deb, a woman's perspective?
Excuse me if I might, I can't find the raise hand feature here somehow.
That's okay. Just blur it out at this point.
All right. I'm good at that anyway. But one thing I do think we should be better at, Tom, and it's very specific, is the let's say the web page. If you've been watching any of the meetings, there's been a few new applicants to committees over the past couple of months. And even those people, when they go in and they're saying, well, I was interested in applying, and I looked on the website and I saw that there was a opening in open space, and I went for that. Well, if you look, that opening for open space is from April of last year. It's just an old remainder of what was available then, and it just so happened that it was available now. A more accurate and up-to-date list of openings, I think, would assist greatly.
Okay.
Because if somebody wanted to join the advisory, let's say, and they saw only an open space opening, they might just pass. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just as an open comment, I don't think the advisory showed up on that list, Bob, as I recall. You know, by the way, Bev, don't push us to age-wise too quickly. But Bev brought on Paul Grubb, and I want to say this, that Paul Grubb was a very active member. He did a number of presentations and made presentations to the select board. That to me was an excellent member. Unfortunately, the gentleman has moved out of town.
Okay. Anyone have?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I have a couple comments. Mike Curry's watching on YouTube. So one comment, he congratulates Bev and Bob. Mentions how about a citizens academy as a way of trying to recruit people to join committees in town and learn a little bit more about the inner workings of town government. And then lastly, just that landlines will work with dispatch. That must have been
All right. Anyone have anything else on this, on the committee size or any changes? All right. Next on the agenda is something that will just kind of just come up with the webpage to discuss webpage access. Will has approached me with a desire to receive some training for the webpage with helping out. That would be the advisory committee webpage. We still be putting the official minutes up with the town clerk on the My Town Gov section. But there is a lot of things on the actual webpage itself that could be done. I will, if you want to just talk about a little bit about this. I know you talked with Adam. If you'd like to just kind of briefly go over stuff.
Yeah, at our last meeting, I brought up about the web page, and I know that you wanted me to do it at that time. I needed to take an in-depth. I didn't feel comfortable technically of trying to take and do it, but in doing some research with the administrator, I found that there was training, and that would probably make it a lot easier to take and end up doing. And there's probably other resources that I could probably end up going to that know about web pages, but the training is the thing that I wanted to step up and say, okay, I will end up doing what I can and going forward. So there it is.
Okay, we certainly appreciate that, Will. I said with the training in that, I know we certainly could. I certainly wouldn't have an issue with going over the helping set up the training for you and stuff through Adam and that, and through the webpage.
Well, what has to happen is that if a motion is made to end up doing this, is to end up notifying Holly, because she's the one that has the training. When she receives the training package, she also gives out the passcode to get into our page. So, well, and that has to happen. So if the motion is to take and end up a thing to Holly as to who's going to end up doing it on the training, and to take and end up issuing a passcode.
Yes, I agree with you, Will. I know. I believe I somewhere have a passcode for it. I think that they've had that as an updated, but I think that certainly as far as having you step up, I think is greatly appreciated, because it would certainly help to have that updated.
Well, I may end up asking you some questions as to your thoughts as to how to take and end up doing some things.
Yeah, no, certainly not an issue. I'll probably refresh with it just to, wouldn't hurt to have a couple people at least, knowing it as far as refreshing with it. So it's pretty much the same system, I believe, that we use in the other town that I am in. I just need to kind of brush up on it. I would entertain a motion as far as anyone at this point to, unless someone has any other questions or discussion on it about helping with updating the webpage.
Tom, I'll make a motion to designate Will as the, I guess, person to be responsible for setting up the webpage. I don't know how to word it. It's been a while.
Not sure as far as motion wise. I know you can't vote on it. I don't know if having you make the motion is good. Anyone?
Probably not.
So
this is Deb. Are you just looking for a motion to designate Will as the
as to take the trainings for updating the website.
Yeah, okay, so I'll make a motion to designate Will as the person to manage website content for the advisory committee. Does that sound good?
Okay, yeah. And take the trainings with it, along with it, so that you may take the training and absolutely hate it. So at least start with the trainings and move forward.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion on it? Okay, roll call vote. Amy?
Yes.
Will?
Yes, I just hope I'm making not a mistake here. That's all.
Well, if you are, then we'll, if you don't like it, then we certainly can work with that too. There's nothing wrong with if it's not your cup of tea. Tony?
Yep. Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. I'll contact Holly Will on that, and we can move forward with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next up is new business. We've already taken care of the new member applications. Next up is to discuss the levy limit memo. Memo was sent out by Town Administrator Adam, informing the board that he had used some miscalculated a portion of the levy limit for 22 using the revenue from fiscal 21 instead of the revenue that he should have been using. However, the good news on that is that it did make the adjustment of not needing to use any of the free cash for the operating budget. So it was a mishap in positive direction. Once he re-examined it, he did catch this, and I think that's important to see. Always, we're constantly people reviewing the numbers, and that's a good thing. By not having to go and to use stabilization, that certainly is a free, not having to use the free cash. I think that's something that we all strive to not have to, and that's a good thing in my mind. If anyone would like to discuss anything else on the memo, by all means.
So I guess since we haven't officially got the budgets, it's not a mistake yet. It's just refinement of the budget.
Yes,
So,
it is, and it's nice to.
no, but it's good to have it that it's for once to the positive. It's kind of nice to have that.
No, I certainly agree with that, Tony.
Tom,
Yes, go ahead. Yep.
that we lucked out because we're not starting in a hole. You know, I have a very, very real feeling that we got a train coming down the tracks and it's going to run us over in the next couple of years because it's not going to be the money from the state and the federal government we expect. And for us to start in a hole, I did not want to pass the town meeting budget because I thought we needed a 1/12 budget at the time because we've been here before where we didn't get money from the state that we expected, and the hurt was a big hurt. We have, as a town, pretty much been in a hole every 4 to 5 years. I don't want to go there. I don't want to have to lay people off. So even though Adam said he made a mistake, it's a good mistake because now we're not in such bad shape as we would have been starting in a hole. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
I certainly agree.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Will.
I have to agree. It was only a mistake if the budget had been put out, and he ended up finding out. Here's a question. Before I go on to they can talk about a few other things about this, I'm going to ask my fellow members that were on this and got the memo. Did anybody verify the figures that Adam sent to us? Anybody?
As far as the numbers on the memo?
Yep.
No, basically going by the numbers that he sent forward to us.
Well, I always go under the premise of trust, but verify. And just to let you know, the numbers that he gave were off the recap sheet. I have a copy of that. And also, if you go, I don't know if any of you end up going to the state website that and it's by the cities. I also verified it there. I also looked at last year's warrant, and I'll tell you, I defy anybody to take and look at the warrant and tell me what the actual budget was, the budget numbers, because there's about 3 or 4 different warrant articles. And also, if you look at the budget that we were given, because I looked at the budget, it didn't come out to his number either. So those two you couldn't use to take and end up verifying, because of the way the budget document is set up. Unfortunately, I mean, previously I look back at an older budget that was put out by Bob Markle. It was an Excel sheet. It did have the omnibus, and it said selectmen, and it gave a number for the selectmen, and it highlighted the selectmen. And I'm just using that as an example. If you clicked on it, on selectmen, it brought you down to the actual detail of every account, so you could end up looking at that. It also had on there the debt and the new growth. So all those figures were on his sheet so that anybody could end up looking at that sheet under this budget here. And I had conversations with Adam about this and said, hey, we need to take and end up trying to get a little bit better so that when we look at the budget, that we can end up telling a little bit better as to what our levy limit is, and not have and not have to go searching, because I don't think everybody knows what they voted for at town meeting, because it wasn't one number of the 10,681, 125. Nowhere could I find that. So, I mean, those are just some comments. I think we have an opportunity to do that. When I also talked with Adam, and I don't know how everybody else feels, I asked him not to take and give me a budget book, to take and end up saving on the copying. What I did talk to him about was to take and give me and everybody else electronic version of the budget. And if any changes are made, they have to be made to that budget. And I told him, well, do rev control. And he didn't know what rev control, when we had to go through it, is that when you make a revision to a document, you actually, and he called it an amendment. So the wording was different. And he agreed that that's a good possibility. I don't know if he's going to do it, but we had a discussion. So those are my things around this. Like I said to any of the members, go off and take a look at the warrant and see, or the budget, and see if you can come up with the numbers that he was talking about.
Thank God the budget book's gone. I have a couple of them laying around. I'm gonna have to dump them in the rubbish, I guess. It's very expensive to put that together. It weighed a ton.
I think they've done it though this year. I talked to Adam earlier, and
Okay. Well,
I think they've. Because I asked him for electronic myself.
yep. I'd like it very much if we did not have a budget so dummied down that you didn't know what was in it.
Just as a note also is my understanding in talking with Adam is that all the selectmen, and I don't know who all is, want the budget book in addition to the electronic.
Have it.
Well, a lot of people, and I'm maybe in the minority, but I'm one of them. I like to jot notes down on things lots of times if I do have questions on certain things. Sometimes that's hard to do electronically. I mean, I certainly can do it on an iPad, but it's something that some people just, if we've got a question, it's easier to make a note sometimes and actually have it written. But again, electronic copy, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine with that. I've got no issue printing things out myself if I got a question on a certain thing.
The thing, I like a paper book because you can change the electronic stuff. If you've got a paper book, you have history in your hand. But I don't want to, at least now we don't have to lug it back and forth. So to pick one up to keep, I have a whole line of town reports up there. And I've got some from 1930. That I can see, but an electronic version, even I can handle that. So we're good.
All right. Anyone have any more questions or comments about the levy limit memo and the positive adjustment that now has been made? Anything on the chat, Deb, that we need to be aware of at this point?
No, I think we're good. Mike mentioned that Jeff is the major driver, but it is a good tool. So I think he's referring to the budget book. So just kind of, I think, same thing, like some people like them, some people don't.
All right. Next on the agenda, we got discuss the weekly report from 2011, if there's sent it out. I don't know if anyone had any questions on it. I just like to put it on as a placeholder if people have things they want to discuss that they saw in there for the week. I know this comes out every week, so it's something that we'll I like to kind of put in just to review if people have comments on it.
The only comment I have is that there's some departments that have consistently had nothing to report. I find that kind of odd.
I think and I've noticed trying to put together a newsletter for my department. Now, I think some departments really do their stuff more on a bi-weekly basis. So sometimes the weekly report may not get something, but then the following week they've got the 2 weeks worth. I've kind of noticed that with some of the different departments. But I know what you're saying, Will. I'm sure every single one of these departments every week has been doing things. I don't think any of them are not doing something. Sometimes it's just easier tally wise and different things like that to do a bi-weekly thing sometimes. But it's good that this comes out every week. I know a lot of people read it, and it's something that I think's a really good accounting to showing what the town's doing throughout the week.
Well, the reason I brought that up, Tom, is there's departments that are consistent week after week after week. And if they would put it up something at some particular time, even a couple of times a month, it would be okay. But if you looked over an entire month, they had nothing.
Okay, did anyone have any other questions or comments about the weekly report?
I actually do, Tom.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
If you don't mind. I just like
Don't mind at all.
to make those aware that we are finally starting to get some money from the green communities, and that was mentioned in the weekly report. And it will be nice to start seeing some of those funds that were going to be utilized to take care of a few of our items that I believe were put in special articles. There was a question of whether or not they were going to be available for the green funds grant. And now that we have it, hopefully we can clear that up a little bit more. It would be nice to get some of that $1.1 million in special articles either completed or cleaned up anyway. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Bob. Anyone have anything else as far as the weekly report goes? All right, next on the agenda is committee members' comments. So just kind of go around. If anyone's got anything they want to say or speak up, we'll just kind of go around the loop. Beverly, if you got anything you want to mention or bring up. You're muted.
Yeah,
Okay.
now I'm not, right?
Yep, you're all set.
Not bad for an old lady. Well, I think that we're gonna have a bit of work to do, but I'll do my part and hope that everything goes smoothly. Hopefully we can have a town meeting in May that we can figure out how people can all show up, maybe do it outside if we have to. Because a lot of people didn't come last year and that was difficult. You know, annual town meeting, we never used to have a fall one. So that was the time that people really made an effort to go. So if we can make it work so that everybody can feel comfortable, that'll be a real asset. And have to see about what we can do to make the new people in town more welcome. You know, let them have some input. So we'll work on it. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bev. Amy, you have anything tonight?
No, I don't have anything, but just to thank Bev and Bob for coming out of their semi-retirement to join us and round us out, give us the members we needed.
Okay. Will?
What I'd like to end up seeing on the agenda is Bob's email about the CPC. I know that you made a comment about that it's a CPC issue, but my thoughts are that in looking at this whole thing, we better start talking about that because we're going to have to make recommendations come at the annual town meeting if this goes forward. So we better talk about what's best for the town. I know that the CPC is going to steer the boat and maybe put it on or not put it on, but we're going to have to end up making a recommendation for it. So we better talk about it long time before annual town meeting.
Okay, I can put that on the next agenda. Anything else, Will?
Not at the moment. I'll just, if I think of something, I'll get back to you.
Okay, Tony?
Nope, I think I'm good tonight, Tom. Thanks.
All right, Bob?
Just thank you all for appointing me, and yeah, I'm back. We'll have an interesting spring. We have a lot of numbers to look at and a lot of issues to deal with, but I think if we, give them the attention they deserve, we got the eyes on them, we can get through this just fine. And I agree with what Will said, not because it's, let's say, my letter, but because of the idea that I think we should look at the overall town picture and then set a direction for our committees rather than have our committees, kind of like from the bottom up management rather than from the top down. And hopefully we can get there over time. But thank you, and welcome to all and myself.
Very good. Thank you, Bob. Deb, you got anything?
I don't, but I just want to echo Amy's sentiments and welcome Bob and Beverly to the committee and thank them for coming up to help out. So thank you.
All right. And likewise with me, again, welcome both of you. It's nice to have a full committee. I certainly look forward to the upcoming meetings. We'll be certainly getting into stuff on the agenda, and when I strongly encourage, as I send out agenda requests, if anyone's really got anything they want to talk about, put it on the agenda and we'll get it in. I try to get it out a little bit earlier. I know Will had asked to get it out as early as possible, so we'll try to get the agenda out to you guys. I kind of wait sometimes just to make sure as we review things that go on in the Board of Selectmen meetings and different things, we have agenda topics that pop up. So I don't like to put it out too soon. But we certainly, moving forward, I think we'll have a good committee and we'll have some interesting discussions on a lot of important topics. So,
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
want to take a thank you for getting it out a little bit earlier. I know that I had asked for that. If you can end up even putting it out earlier, and if you have to make updates like you did for the end up, at least if it's some topics that people have to go research, the sooner that you can end up seeing those topics as a member, the better off you are getting prepared for the meeting. And I want to take a thank you for getting it out a little sooner.
You're welcome, Will. And one of the things that makes it easier for me to get the agenda out sooner is getting topics to it on it. A lot of times, if I don't get the topics, if I haven't got topics from people, then I kind of hold off on putting it out if there hasn't been a lot of ideas. So just as kind of wait and see and catch all at the end. So I think we'll work together on helping put that together. It's a committee of a lot of different people and we're all busy, but I think we all have the opportunity to put some topics on if we want to talk about stuff. So I look forward to working with that. Anything else on the chat, Deb?
No, nothing.
Excellent. Anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up? If not, I'd entertain that wonderful motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Amy?
Yes.
Will?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Have a good night, everyone, and take care.
Okay, everybody.